everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alethea Thomas, and if you like books or bookish content, then you are in the right place. It's so nice to see you all again. It's been a little bit of a while, actually. I've been really struggling trying to get videos out in a timely manner. We have a lot going on right now during the end of summer just as a family. Lots of kids' activities wrapping up for the year, and we're starting some new activities too. Oh my goodness, it's like taken up a lot of our time lately, and it's a little bit crazy. It's cheerleading for my daughter, so everything should calm down with the cheerleading practice schedule, especially after the summer break is over with. We've also got school starting for the new semester here, like the 22nd or 23rd of August, so all kinds of things going on because of that too. Just been a really busy schedule. And for some reason, I have decided to really load myself up on books. Maybe I needed this therapy. I'm not sure at this point, but I'm a little bit behind as far as, what I had planned on reading in some areas. Last month, I kind of took a turn off of the plan, my scheduled out reads for the year, which is totally fine because I knew I'd end up doing that at some point. I'm giving myself plenty of leeway here to do whatever I feel like doing. I may even just totally ditch the plan entirely and do whatever I want. I don't care. We're going to see how it goes for the rest of this year. So I decided, after going off on my little fantasy romance adventure, after Jane Austen July and all of that kind of new material coming in, I've decided to try and get back to the plan, because that's what I want to do. I want to read a lot of these books that are, on the docket as far as my plan goes. I've also got a lot of stuff that's not really on the plan, but I put in a lot of holds at the library, and some of those holds are coming through now, and I need to read them because I want to. So it's a lot of different material this month, which I'm grateful for, and which I'm going to try in my hardest and complete everything, but I have a feeling I'm not going to complete everything. So anyway, with all of that said, I think let's go ahead and get on to this. So we are actually pretty well into August here. Today is like the 9th of August, I believe. Yes, today is Wednesday, the 9th of August. So I'm a little late getting this video out too. It's just how it has been. It's just how it has been. So I actually knocked out a couple of books here. There was one that I had a hold on from the library, an audio book called Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I did finish that book on the 6th of August. 6th of August. And it was pretty good. I think I talked about that in another video. I don't know if it will come out before or after this one. Pretty decent book, although it didn't really capture me like a lot of other fantasy romance does. I can see the appeal, though. It is there. It's a good book. I really just don't think I'm in the right headspace for this book. It was good, though. I did not hate it. I thought it was all right. I gave it a 4 stars just because it was well written, interesting plot, and I think if I had been in the right headspace, I would have enjoyed it more. I think that I had listened to like a lot of fantasy romance, and I was kind of overindulged, just too saturated in it perhaps, that it wasn't new feeling. It wasn't fresh to me for some reason. It just didn't really grab me, hold me, wasn't like, oh, this is something new, I'm going to consume this. I've just been so absorbed with so many other fantasy romances lately that I think I just really, again, was not in the right headspace for this one. Still good, though. Like I said, still good. So that was Dance of Thieves. I've been reading my daughter some books too, so I went ahead and added this onto my Goodreads. This one was The Secret Rescuers. It's a series by Paula Harrison. It's this cute little fantasy about rescuing animals, little magical creatures. So this one was The Star Wolf, which is like, I think the 4th in the series. She wanted to skip around, and these books, they're written so that you could skip around to just about any book and you will you will not be lost at all. The first book was about rescuing a baby dragon. The Secret Rescuer is the Storm Dragon. And they're really cute books. They're written for kids. I mean, little kids. So keep that in mind. But they are really cute books. But I decided to add it to my Goodreads because, hey, I'm reading them, and I'm reading them to her, so I'm adding them to my Goodreads. Another one I finished up really early this month, and this was on August 3rd, was Flower Heart. And that's by Catherine Bakewell. Pretty good book. I just don't think it was written very well. It could have been written much better, and it would have been a more interesting story had some things been tweaked just a little bit. It was a neat story though, and I enjoyed it, but I didn't like fully enjoy it. I just think it was a little childish in some ways, a little too elementary, a little too just not an adult. Just not even an adult would really want to pick this up. A little maybe too saccharine. Maybe that's it. This girl had just the worst anxiety problems and just lack of confidence. This whole book was all about lack of confidence, which I can understand, but this girl was pushing it to an extreme, I felt like. She just had no confidence whatsoever. And it's almost like, well, if you have no confidence at all even to do this magic, and you feel like it's always going to fail, and you feel like there's no other option but to embrace your magic, and she keeps going back and forth in this internal conflict, and it got kind of annoying, in fact. So it was almost like you just wanted to shake her and tell her, will you quit doing this to yourself? Will you get over your issues? So that's kind of where I was on that. It was just a little frustrating to me, but it was okay. So those three books, August TBR, also have completed. Here are books I have not completed yet and that I am currently working on. We'll start with Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson. I have completed Margaret Rogerson's other books, Sorcery of Thorns, which I absolutely loved, and then Enchantment of Ravens, which was okay. It was not as good as Sorcery of Thorns. Sorcery of Thorns was just absolutely excellent, though. So Vespertine is on my TBR. I just started it, and it became available on my Libby, so I went ahead and got a hold of that as quick as I could. And I don't think anyone else is really waiting on this one. There were no holds on it, so should be just fine. Another Margaret Rogerson I am also reading is Mysteries of Thorn Manor. Now this one I did have a hold on, and I had to wait for a little bit. It just became available though, so I am starting to work my way through it, and it looks like a novella, because it was saying on my Kindle that it would take about 3 hours to read. So shorter story, but it should be pretty good. Really looking forward to that because I loved Sorcery of Thorns so much. One that I'm listening to right now is The Chateau. This is a thriller by Jacqueline Goldis, and I thought that I was going to do this one for Summerween. I couldn't get a hold of it, but the hold finally came through, and so I've decided to go ahead and start listening to it. And it's all about these women who go to a chateau. They're all in their 40s right now. One of them is going to be having their birthday. They're visiting one of the characters' grandmothers who owns the chateau. All of these women have different issues going on. A murder happens in the book, and so all of them are a suspect basically, and it kind of becomes a whodunit, it seems like, from there. And there are secrets. There are secrets from the family. There are secrets that that the women are keeping from each other. There are just secrets all around, and that sounds like a lot of fun in general. That whole part of it is really good. What I'm not liking so far is the voice of these characters. To be perfectly honest, the girl who's reading the book, in fact, there are multiple narrators in this book. which is totally fine, and they got different actors for each of the characters, which is great. I'm not liking a lot of the characters in this book, though. They're whiny, they're complaining, they are doing really stereotypical white women sort of things that, I mean, yes, there is truth to some of those stereotypes. I totally get it, but I mean, these are extreme stereotypes that I am talking about. You know, one of the gals is having like really bad marital problems. She was having problems getting pregnant years ago, and so there was a lot of talk about that in the book. She's got a failing business that she's trying to keep afloat. She's got all of these problems, and she's also trying to be super mom at the same time. So she's the picture of stress, if you ask me. Then you have another woman. So she just broke up with her girlfriend, who they were dating for like 2 years or something like that. But this person also had cancer. The cancer was the reason that the girlfriend broke up with her. So I feel really bad for this particular character. But this particular character was described herself as a very voluptuous woman. She unfortunately had a mastectomy surgery, like completely removed the breast tissue and everything. So she is in the process of reconstruction. And she feels horrible about herself and her body, and she hates her her former girlfriend, and is like stalking her on social media now because she was left, and she feels lonely, and she hates herself, and she's trying to kind of get over all of this. So I feel bad for that character. That character, she's you just feel bad for her. Then there's a third character. See, there's four women in all. There's a third character who, and they're all like New York, these three girls anyway, they're all New York, Hamptons, socialite sort of women, okay? So keep all of that in mind. Then there's this other stereotypical woman who is the exercise freak. She has a studio where she just spin classes all the time. She never eats anything bad for her. She never eats sugar. She never drinks. She's like clean, organic. Everything has to be organic. Everything has to be certified. No sulfates. She's like this purist, absolute purist exercise freak who's toned, and has to work really hard for her body, but she's really proud of it. She's also Jewish, and that's also a big, part of this, is her father is Jewish, and she is Jewish, and her husband is Jewish, and so she's raising her children as being Jewish, which is all fine and good. But I mean, it really like digs into all of those stereotypes of, especially that character. She's very annoying with her stereotypes. I have no idea why, but it drives me crazy. So those are those three women, and then the fourth girl, the fourth woman, who is French actually, and they met at the chateau when the three of them went to France 20 years ago. And so they're meeting up with their friend again, and also the grandmother of one of the three women, I should say, one of the three women. And the French girl, I guess she's not stereotypically French. She's the most chill out of all of them, which I do appreciate, because she's a very refreshing character to read, the narrative through after the other three, because the other three are like are nothing but stress. But then you've got this kind of chill Parisian French woman who in her own way is stereotypical, but it's a more calm stereotypical, if that makes sense. So you have these four, and there's secrets going around. There's a murder mystery going on. There's all of this stuff going on. I have gotten so annoyed with the characters in this book, though, that I have at some points thought to myself, why am I listening to this? This just sounds awful. Yes, these women are 40. Yes, I understand some of the things they're going through, but they're really pushing hard on some of this, and this is almost unbearable. This is almost unbearable. So I have thought like twice now. I was like, maybe I should just turn this off and DNF it because I'm really not interested. It's picking up though. I think we've gotten to a place where a lot of that conversation is going to end, and then we're going to actually get to the thriller murder mystery part of this book. So all of that I just spoke about was all the build up to, you know, the actual plot. So hopefully this will go well. So hopefully all of this will pick up and it'll be a more interesting book than it is. If it doesn't go anywhere, like by the halfway point, I'm probably gonna go ahead and DNF it. The next book I'll talk about is Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. Look at how pretty this cover is. I think it's a wonderful picture. Props to whomever did the graphic design on this, because it is just a great design. It's just a really fabulous design. I love it. I'm not very far into it yet, though. I'm only like to page 30 so far, which is just about to chapter 4. Yeah, I'm in chapter 4. So I don't have much to say on this right now. It is interesting so far. It hasn't captured me to the point where I have to like not put it down yet. So I'm hoping that's going to happen soon. But I really do want to finish this by the end of August. Let's see, we spoke about Mysteries of Thorn Manor. I guess I'll also say I do have one left over from Jane Austen July, and that was Jane Austen at Home by Lucy Worsley. I do have do I have it here? Yes, I do have it here. I do have the physical book now. I decided it was so good when I borrowed it from the library that I would go ahead and get the physical copy. And it is an interesting book now. I'm not terribly far in it though. I think that I'm like to page 90 in here. Yeah. And I will keep working at it. I just ran out of time really last month. And I don't know if I'm actually going to finish this month or not. We will see. I'm not really like jonesing to pick this up right this second, so I have a feeling it's like at the bottom of the list right now. If for some reason I don't end up finishing it like this year even, I'm okay with that. It's a bit of a chonker of a book. It's what, like 400 pages? Yeah. That's excluding the index and all of that at the back. Alright, so that is electronic TBR, and that also covers the, well, I guess I did that in electronic format to begin with, so we'll call all of that my electronic, you know, TBR. So then physical TBR, I am really wanting to read Tess of the Dubervilles by Thomas Hardy, and it begins in the month of May. And it's about a poor heroine country girl named Tess whose encounter with her distant aristocratic relatives, especially the handsome, cruel Alec, leaves her broken and haunted by a secret that could ruin her. I just haven't read any Thomas Hardy before. I've heard that Tess of the Dubervilles is really good. I've had this one on my shelf for over a year now, and I think it's time to break this out and read it. So we'll see if I get to it. Ernest Hemingway, The Sun Also Rises. I do want to read this. I'm kind of itching to read another Ernest Hemingway, and I thought that this would be the next one I picked up anyway. And it's about a group of people that start from France, and then I think they make their way down to Spain and go to the running of the bulls. There's apparently a lot of drinking in this book, so that should be fun. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about this. I just wanted to pick up another Ernest Hemingway, mostly because I liked the Old Man and the Sea so much. And I also liked A Movable Feast quite a bit. So looking forward to The Sun Also Rises. And then I mentioned these, I think, in the last, my last TBR as well, but I just haven't gotten to them yet. So Sally Rooney's Normal People. That is on my list. This is kind of a romance, but I think it's like an alternative romance in a way. Like, it's just different than your average romance. I love this cover art though, the can of like tuna, but it's two people inside. I never realized what that was until I actually had the book in front of me. And it's a really evocative image, like being all alone in this little contained thing, the two of them. So we shall see. Maybe it's like two lost, lonely people getting together and all of that. I don't know. I'm kind of romanticizing this, but we'll see. Sally Rooney's Normal People. And then E.M. Forrester's Where Angels Fear to Tread. Looking forward to that one. Frances Hodgson Burnett's The Secret Garden. I wanted to reread this because I read it as a child, and I'm hoping that I will still love it as much as I used to. I think that this was one of the most enjoyable books that I read as a child, and I'm hoping it just kind of holds up. If you've noticed a trend here, I'm trying to go for a couple of books that are just shorter so that I can get them in faster as this month goes by. Because I think I'm at 50 books now, or am I at 51 now? I think I'm at 50. Yes, I'm at 50 of my goal of 100 books for this year. So we will see if I actually get to 100. I don't know if I will. But if I do, I'm hoping that reading these little short books will get me there, faster. And then My Antonia was the other book. This one is about the Midwest, and I think it's a bit of a romance in the Midwest, and I'm hoping it's really good. I have heard of it. I just don't know much about it. But it is by Willa Cather. And apparently they put a reader discretion is advised in here. Looking forward to reading that as well. So I have, my goodness, quite the number of books that I'm hoping to get to. So physically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books physically. And then on my currently reading books, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 12, so 12 books that I have on here, which is way too many, and I know I'm not going to get to all of them, but we'll see if I actually do or not. And I think that's it right now for the TBR for August. So thank you so much for watching, as always. If you like this content, please comment, subscribe, and like. All of those things, I would really appreciate it. I am trying to grow this a little bit. I have like 50 subscribers. Thanks to everyone who has subscribed. If you'd like to subscribe, remember, it's totally free. This is a channel that is never ever going to sell you anything. I have no interest in being commercial about it. I have no interest in making money off of this channel. This channel is completely just something for fun for me to do. And I just want to get out there and talk to people, communicate more, and kind of have a little book club going. I want to know what everyone else is reading too. So anyway, thank you so much again, and I hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful August. Bye-bye.